Once upon a time, in a peaceful meadow surrounded by rolling green hills, there lived a little lamb named Snowdrop. Snowdrop was the joy of his mother's heart, with soft white fleece and a tiny pink nose that twitched whenever he was curious. His mother, a gentle ewe named Daisy, loved him more than anything in the world. They spent their days grazing on sweet grass, playing with the other sheep, and napping under the warm sun. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the meadow grew dark, Snowdrop wandered a little too far from the flock. He was chasing a butterfly, his tiny hooves pattering against the soft earth, when suddenly a shadow loomed over him. Before he could bleat for help, a pack of wolves emerged from the trees, their eyes glowing in the moonlight. They snatched Snowdrop and carried him away into the deep, dark forest. The forest was a scary place, full of twisted trees, eerie sounds, and shadows that seemed to move on their own. The wolves took Snowdrop to their den, a cold and damp cave hidden deep within the woods. Snowdrop was terrified. He missed his mother terribly and cried every night, his soft bleats echoing through the forest. "Mama," he would call, hoping his voice would reach her. But the wolves only growled and told him to be quiet. Back in the meadow, Daisy was frantic. She searched everywhere for Snowdrop, calling his name and asking the other animals if they had seen him. The sheep, the cows, and even the birds hadn't noticed anything unusual. But Daisy refused to give up. She knew her little lamb was out there somewhere, and she was determined to find him. The next morning, Daisy set out on her quest. She approached a wise old owl who lived in a tall oak tree at the edge of the meadow. "Dear owl," Daisy said, her voice trembling, "my little Snowdrop has been taken by wolves. Please, can you help me find him?" The owl blinked his large, knowing eyes and said, "I will fly over the forest and look for him. If he is there, I will find him." With that, the owl soared into the sky, his sharp eyes scanning the forest below. Meanwhile, Daisy continued her search. She met a family of rabbits who offered to hop through the underbrush and listen for Snowdrop's cries. She encountered a kind deer who promised to check the hidden paths and clearings. Even a brave fox joined the effort, using his keen nose to track the wolves' scent. Days passed, and Daisy grew more and more worried. But she never gave up hope. One evening, as the sun was setting, the owl returned with news. "I found him!" the owl hooted. "Snowdrop is in a cave deep in the forest. The wolves are keeping him there, but he's alive and calling for you." Daisy's heart leaped with hope. With the owl leading the way, she and her animal friends hurried into the forest. The rabbits guided them through the thick underbrush, the deer cleared the way, and the fox sniffed out the safest path. Together, they reached the wolves' den. The wolves were surprised to see so many animals standing together. Daisy stepped forward, her voice strong and clear. "Give me back my lamb," she demanded. The wolves, seeing the determination in her eyes and the unity of the animals, realized they were outnumbered. With a growl, they slunk away into the shadows. Snowdrop, hearing his mother's voice, came bounding out of the cave. "Mama!" he cried, leaping into Daisy's waiting embrace. Tears of joy streamed down Daisy's face as she nuzzled her little lamb. "You're safe now, my darling," she whispered. The animals cheered and celebrated as Daisy and Snowdrop made their way back to the meadow. From that day on, Snowdrop never wandered too far from his mother, and Daisy made sure to keep a watchful eye on him. The animals of the meadow, who had once been strangers, became lifelong friends, united by their shared adventure. And so, Snowdrop and Daisy lived happily ever after, their bond stronger than ever, thanks to the kindness and bravery of their animal friends. The deep, dark forest no longer seemed so scary, for they knew that together they could overcome any challenge.